Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Ghost Talks. I haven't been on for a while. I've been pretty busy, and decided to have just a regular Ghost Talks discussion with our new Ghost partners, the Night Watchman investigative team. So, as you guys know, we've actually formed a partnership. Me, Mark, and Cheryl, Ghost, and the Night Watchman investigative team. So now we are one, kind of like two separate teams, but as one as well. So we both have our separate entities, but we combine forces to produce one team that's called the Ghost Night Watchman Investigative Team. So right now we have zero viewers so far. But anyways, so tonight's going to be a general discussion about general kind of. We're going to start with talking about a little bit about equipment and the possibility of false positive. We're going to talk about the spirit box specifically and all sorts of all those other gadgets that you get from all these stores, the gadgets that all teams use right now, and how you can get so many false positive, and how really, to me, and I think Mark and Cheryl agree that the equipment, that's the only thing that's really sure that you're going to capture something, or you that would be tangible, is audio and video. So we already have one comment here. It's my Nick. My Nick is the one that found the kind of clued us into that Georgie person at the library, and she kind of clued in on one of our live feeds that there was a little boy on the third floor, and that's when we captured the book flying off the shelf. We still have not debunked the book. We've tried in many ways, but still cannot find out. We have no clue how that book fell off the shelf. It was literally, by the video, you can see it was actually pushed off, just did not fall off. Anyways, I am going to bring on Mark and Cheryl from the Night Watchman investigative team, our new partners. Hey, Mark and Cheryl.
Hello.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Wonderful.
Good.
Hey. Right.
Good.
Right.
Good.
We're
Where are your
busy.
candles?
That's the
There's
thing.
no candles.
Yes.
Where are your candles? You have no candles in the background.
Hang on, let me load an app.
Okay. All right. So, oh, there we go. There you go.
Cell phone. Cell phone.
Okay, so we as I introduced, we in case a lot of people don't know, we've actually formed a partnership, my team and your team, very recently, and now we're called the Ghost Night Watchman investigative team. Correct.
Show them our Buffalo Soldier. Yes.
Yes. Do you have a picture of that logo still?
Not handy.
Not handy. Okay. Well, you know what? They're all going to see it either tomorrow or at one of our upcoming events, because they're all going to have our shirts on.
Yes, it's absolutely true.
Correct.
We're all going to look fabulous.
We're going to look like professionals.
Okay.
Okay. There we go. Ghost Night Watchman investigative team. So that is our new partnership, everyone. So we've combined into one to do multiple investigations and a lot of events, public investigations as well, and also some workshops. So that is there's a lot of stuff coming up, actually, guys. Like we're getting busy. Actually, you guys have been busier than I have, because a couple of events I couldn't attend.
Yes, we carried on, but it was good time. But yes, our calendar is filling up like all the way to the end of October.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun also trying to live stream with you at the end.
Hey?
On your cell phone and investigate with you was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I like to be there too. Mind you, the last time you guys did the what was it when you did the we did a quick stream? Was that when Spencerville Mill you did that, the quick one?
Yeah.
Textile Mill, yeah. Okay. So that's the one we're going to tomorrow.
No.
Yes. No.
We're going to Spencerville. Where we did that connection was actually in Almont.
Oh, that was in Almont. Okay. See,
that was Almont's Textile Mill. We're going to Spencerville tomorrow.
Yes.
Tomorrow. Okay. So we'll talk to everyone after about the our upcoming events. Now, tonight we want to discuss again a very controversial subject, which is gadgets and all these stuff all the stuff that people use. And I guess we had discussions, all of us, about the possibility that a lot of this equipment creates a lot of false positives, and we should not have I don't think we should have much faith in those, really, right? When we investigate.
No, no,
Karma.
it's become, one of those things where when I first did this and my instruments would go off, I thought everything was a ghost. And then the more you look at it, it's not. We had at the textile mill the case of the tri-field meter going off by a pump motor. Not really a pump motor, but it's a motor. And old motors have the right kind of metal to set that off. So we were kind of excited because it's like, wow, this has no electrical plugged in. The cords are hanging down. And then it dawns in my head. It's like, Mark, think it through from a real, because a lot of young investigators would have been like, oh, there's a ghost here. This is still giving off EMF after being unplugged for 80 years.
Yeah, and this you determined that this was just the metals inside this machine that was actually firing off the EMF meter.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
every time you walk by it, it would go off. So, and that's
So it wasn't a ghost.
no.
No, unfortunately.
Yeah,
That's circling back your area, and if it goes off every time I always, it's another fun one I like is with EMF meters. People will say, "Oh, I always get EMF here," and I'm automatically saying, "No, well, we throw that out the window then."
yeah, yeah. If it's always consistent, that means it's got to be a consistent thing that's actually making it happen. As
Yeah.
you said, the metal inside these machines was firing it off. I mean, if the EMF, if you don't get EMF in one spot and then suddenly the readings are sporadic, then maybe you have something. But if it's consistent, there's got to be some natural cause to it.
Yeah, and the only time there's been a few times I've had EMFs go off with Bytown Museum PRZ paintball, where it went off intelligently, and that's what I'd like to say is like when you're dealing with EMF, immediately start telling it to stop, immediately tell it to start going. So if you get an intelligent EMF, it's
Yeah,
a little different. In the case of those two places, there was nothing to set the EMF meters off or the REM pods. We tested the batteries, and the batteries weren't dead, which is another whole big problem with equipment that we forget.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I
Batteries are
love
an issue as
Destination
well.
Fear. I'll call Dakota and them out. I love them because they're fun to watch, but their REM pods going off when they're sleeping at the end of the night. A
Hmm.
REM pod will only run about 2 hours on a battery before it dies.
Yeah,
And once the battery goes low, it goes off. So
yeah.
when you watch TV and you see the REM pod going off, and
Well,
then
yeah, because the batteries are low.
Yeah, which
yeah,
is why we invest so much money in spare batteries.
and spare
Yeah, we
test.
have a we have a discount with all the battery companies, I think.
Yeah. But we have a battery tester too. And that's the thing. If you get a lot of REM or a lot of EMF activity, you better check your batteries.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
and
very
it's
true.
just the sad part about it.
Yeah, I just want to say hi to Monique is here. There's Denise here. That's they actually like our logo, and Monique said that she loves the fact that we are skeptics, which is I think as investigators you have to be skeptic,
Yeah.
or else, like you said, everything's a ghost, right? Everything that
Oh,
moves, every time an EMF meter goes off, every time you hear a little squeak, you think it's a ghost, right? So if you're not skeptical, you're not going to capture any kind of concrete evidence, right?
oh, I would love some of the home calls we've done, uh, where we get that call that my house is haunted. My mom has an uneasy feeling in the kitchen, and
Yeah.
you go there and there's a litter box in the kitchen. It smells like cat urine, and you see knob and tube, and you're just looking at them, and they're like, "My mom can't stand being in my kitchen." I'm like, "I couldn't eat here." It's creeping me out. There's a litter box next to your potato chip drawer or whatever.
We're not going to mention names or locations, right?
No, well, this could be in the United States. I'm from the US
It could be
originally, so
it could be anywhere.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, or the worst ones are the psychic told me, and I'm like, "Oh, no, the psychic told you so. Which one was this?"
Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah.
correct. So we talked at like as far as equipment, EMF meters. That's something we have to be careful with, and if it combines with another piece of equipment, then it's a little bit more, believable. But we also talked about the spirit box, the infamous spirit box. So does that fit infamous? But anyways, I think you
Yeah.
know what I mean. So we had discussed, I think it was privately, about the spirit box being a tool, but not necessarily something that can detect ghosts or have ghost voices come through it. So we thought that maybe somebody who uses it may be sensitive, and actually the if there is a spirit, they're communicating through you, not necessarily through the spirit box. So the spirit box is kind of like a trigger, I guess we could say. I mean, again, it's just a theory, but again, these gadgets are not meant to detect ghosts. They're meant to make ghosts, to produce ghosts, but they're not meant to detect them, right?
Yeah.
All these things that we buy, it's all these gadgets that are meant to satisfy the ghost hunter.
Yeah, and the thing is, you buy like a spirit box, you get an instruction manual that says put the batteries here with a lot of legal stuff. Please don't sue us at the bottom, and that's it.
For entertainment purposes only.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
you get the
yeah,
so what I feel like Monique's done some psychic work with this, which worked.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
what?
Especially with Georgie. Georgie,
Oh, yeah,
that was.
it's
Still can't get over that book.
it's pretty cool. But like what I say with somebody that's sensitive like that, it does help with the isolation, the white noise. And we've had some great results. We had at the textile mill a really intense session that really actually kind of like was 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon unfolding with us at the end of the night. It's like, wait a minute, because I didn't remember. That's the first time I've done a 30-minute spirit box like that,
Yeah.
and I didn't remember none of it when I came out.
Oh,
So,
yeah,
and then we
and
had
and
the hit at the Keyhole House, which launched their current performance that they're doing.
because they're all over the place right now. Ted and Marion, right? They're
Yes,
performing.
they are.
Where are they? I guess you could call this a plug. Where are they performing right now? Like which locations?
Carlton Place right now, and I think
Hmm.
they're getting ready to announce somewhere in Toronto suburbs.
Okay,
I'm not going to announce it for them because they haven't announced, but they posted a teasing picture. So go to their Facebook site and check it out.
okay, okay.
Uh, it's an
So
awesome
for the
show.
people, for the people that don't know, Ted and Marion are magicians or illusionists, and they produce illusions, or it's an act similar to, I guess, a David Copperfield, along those lines, right?
Yeah, without the weirdness.
Without the weirdness. Okay, it's a
Without
little
the
bit more
weirdness.
serious.
Yeah.
Tough,
So anyways,
tough
yeah, check
with the
out
weird
Ted and Marion. What's Outer Bridge?
outer
Outer
bridge.
Bridge,
Yeah.
Outer
yes.
Bridge. And what's the name of their show again? I forget. Do they have a
Mysteries of the
specific?
Keyhole House.
Mysteries of the Keyhole House. So check out Ted and Marion on Google. Check out their show. They're touring right now, so be sure to go see it. I have not seen it. I know Mark and Cheryl have been. It's an amazing show, so go check them out if you have the chance.
Yeah, talking about the spirit box, like something I say to people is when you watch TV, you'll hear a voice come out of it. I've
Hmm.
only had that happen like twice, and it was so random that I threw it away because I was like, did it grab radio frequency? You know,
Yeah.
the voice didn't make no sense at the
Yeah.
randomness of what come out. Something I find with the spirit box that I tell other investigators is to use your box, but if you audibly hear it come out of the box, I always say rewind. So if you're watching a live stream, you'll hear me say rewind. That's my clue to say, Mark, it's a lot faster for me just to say that is to say, Mark, this came audible and you heard it.
Yeah.
But I find that there are in the undertones of the low end when I'm using a spirit box on my voice recorder, there will be voices. And I will tell you, I throw 70% of them away unless it's intelligent, unless it's actually saying something besides hi or I'm here.
Yeah. Hi, hello, I'm here. My name's Dan, or just a simple word. It's got to be something tangible, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's something like I see that people I don't think understand with the spirit box is it's a great tool, but then there's the cheaper one that I had that always got stuck on the radio. So it would sound literally, and the EVPs would sound like you were listening to the radio commercials.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I just say
And
don't
again,
buy the cheap ones.
I think it goes back to their gadgets, right? It's stuff that you may not find some stuff, and you may not be able to prove or not if it's paranormal or not, because these things are meant to produce ghosts. That's what they're meant for. And it's just a lot of teams do use them. A lot of people use different types of gadgets, and that's what they are. They're gadgets.
Yeah, it's designed to make it. My biggest one I hate is the SLS.
Yeah.
It's designed to make a figure.
Well,
At
not
the end
only
of the
that. I
day.
mean, it's there's so many. I mean, the SLS. There's so many different settings that you can use and change, and there's so much light contamination. All these types of different kind of contrast and brightness, and of course it's when you start messing around with stuff too much, it's kind of like EVPs as well. When you listen to a recording and you feel like you hear something, a potential voice, and then you start changing the frequencies on it, you start moving it around, you start altering the recording, eventually you're going to hear something, right? So it's best to just leave it as is. And I think with the SLS, that's what it is. There's just too much video contamination, too many features that you can put in, which may produce something as we call a false positive.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
yeah. I've
So we do.
I've seen too many people grab that and be like, "There's a guy standing on your shoulder." I'm like, "No way."
Yeah, and it's a coat rack with a jacket
Yeah, with a hat, top hat, and a white
and a
dress.
top
You
hat
have to
and a
remember
white
too,
dress
the,
and a white dress
the,
holding
the
a can.
SLS,
A can. Hey.
the SLS was also developed, as a video game add-on because it was to recognize the movements of people using it in
Mm-hmm.
order to,
Yeah, they kind of reversed what it's
yeah,
designed for the Wii and the
Mm-hmm.
Xbox. It-
Yeah.
so they took a video game software that mapped your body, and now they're using it to map the air, and
Yeah.
it's interesting.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
yeah,
it doesn't say that you can't capture anything, but I mean, I feel like again, it's I feel like it could lead to contamination and false positives because there's too many. There's too many. I don't know.
but it's a
Maybe
lot of
maybe not.
fun if you're in an abandoned place and want to be creeped out. It is
There you
yes,
fun.
go. If you want to have fun, yeah,
You
especially if
want
you're
to have
doing
fun and
events and
not.
stuff or tours and things like that. It's good to entertain the guests.
Yeah, yeah.
oh, for
Just don't
sure.
tell them they
So
have a ghost in their house when you leave, so they can't go to bed for the next year.
there you go. There you go. So we have a comment here by Monique. A study was done on old homes. Seems to be more haunted, and they believe it's because of toxic materials. So I've heard of that. If there's mold, asbestos, and
100%.
stuff like that, it can cause sickness, which can cause hallucinations, etc. It's kind of like somebody who's extremely sensitive to electromagnetic fields. If they're very sensitive, they can have feelings of nauseousness, feelings of seeing things from the corner of their eye, even hallucinations. So I think that's a good comment by my Nick that sometimes in old houses there could be some kind of toxic material that may be affecting the owners.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm an environmental health guy, and I read safety data sheets all the time, and people don't pick those up and they don't care about them when they should, because
Hmm.
it'll tell you for whatever's in that house. Say it's cleaner. There's a safety data sheet for Tide. There's a safety data sheet for Lysol. There's one for lead, and it'll tell you it may cause hallucinations, may cause.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So it's something that's never really taken into consideration when you have people saying, "I've got an uneasy feeling." And exactly like Monique said, it's because of some of the things in the house. You
Hmm.
know, if you go there in
And the
the
thing
house,
is,
go ahead.
and the thing is, too, our houses now are so full of electromagnetic fields. We got like modems, we
Yes.
got TVs. It's kind of like, and I've mentioned this before. It's kind of like when the power goes out. There's Your house feels totally different. It's like there's no hum. Your body feels different because everything is shut down. There's nothing going on. Even when you go to bed at night, when the hydro's on, you still feel it. Like it's still kind of all these electrical things that we have around us constantly affects us. And when the power goes out during a storm, you feel totally different. It's almost like it's a release because you don't have all this stuff around you all the time. And I think this is something most investigators have to start to take in consideration. But a lot of the time, it could be caused by outside natural causes.
Yeah, naturally. Like if you're going to be a paranormal investigator, $25 norm awareness, take it. Understand that naturally occurring radioactive materials that are in the air
Mhm.
can set off your EMF meters. They can make you uneasy. They can
Hmm.
fire off a real quick positive. That's why I try to tell people always attack. If you get a meter going off, tell it to stop. Make it, if it's intelligent, such as Bytown Museum was very intelligent.
Yeah.
So was PRZ. That's different. If you could say stop it, it stops on command 3 times.
Hmm. Well, the PRZ as well. I mean, there's no power there. There's no
Yeah.
power.
Right.
There's no electricity. There's nothing. So there's nothing that could fire off an EMF meter technically because the EMFs that we use, they detect man-made electromagnetic fields, not natural magnetic fields, right, from the Earth. So if there's no electricity there, there's no man-made, either a modem or TV or some kind of electrical stuff. There's no reason why this EMF should be going on, because the ones we use, like the Mel meter, the K2, the REM pods, these are all meant to detect man-made electromagnetic fields, not natural ones.
Right. So I mean, that's just things you gotta think about outside the box when you're thinking scientific method. Roger Miller was going to come tonight, and Darlene's sick, so I'm giving him a prop. But Roger's a skeptic all the time,
Yeah, I
and
think me and Roger are pretty kind of on the same page. Maybe less me. I think Roger's a bit more skeptical.
no, he's 100% skeptic.
100%.
I've only seen him
50%.
scared twice since I've been with him for 10 years,
Yeah, he
and he
doubts
wasn't
everything,
scared.
right? He doubts everything, but
Yeah,
that's fine. We need that. We need somebody who's going to doubt everything.
yeah. When Roger's
So,
scared, his eyebrows go up, and he goes, "I've never felt this before," and he's only said
okay.
it to me
So,
twice. So
so when his eyebrows go up, that's something we should look for.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Or when you see something that you think that is verifiable, and he will come back and say, no, it's this. It's some, like at the
It's-
toy store.
Yeah.
That was, we had the big discussion about, well, no, it's air current, it's breath, it's whatever. Toys spinning on their own, hanging from the ceiling. And
Yeah.
no, it's naturally occurring. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
no, it's not.
Well, I
So
don't think we really that was at the toy store in Smith Falls, right? We didn't really put too much
yeah,
emphasis on toys because we thought, yeah, okay, it's kind of weird that we're kind of twisting on cue, but not enough to call it paranormal because there's a lot of
yeah,
exterior factors that could be affecting it that we're not noticing.
exactly.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool to see it move, but we couldn't call it paranormal.
No, with what Roger said, you can't say he's wrong because he's right. And it's one of those things where you can't present it to the public as, oh my God, there's a ghost in this room because of the toy spin, but it's like this is there. So the evidence is already 50-50, and you can't
Yeah.
present 50-50.
No, you
It's
can't.
good
It's
for
either
us.
100% or nothing.
Yeah, I like the
It's
personal
fun,
experience
but
of getting the dolphin to spin different directions on command.
Yeah. And it's like, how dare you debunk me? I'm having fun.
yeah.
Some of the
Yeah,
best
well,
entertainment.
yeah, well, that's the whole part of investigating is debunking, right? That's the fun part.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun when we find something, but it's actually also thrilling when you debunk because we're going, oh shit, this is what it was, and we thought it was something big, but it
Yeah.
wasn't. We debunked it. So that's where people investigating have to realize that part of investigating, the fun of it is not capturing like the holy grail, like the book flying off the shelf,
Yeah.
or like a long time ago when we did the Ottawa Jail Hostel, the window opening and closing by itself. That's like a holy grail of evidence. But part of the fun as well is actually debunking, and the satisfaction is saying, okay, we actually did our research, we actually looked at this, we thought it was paranormal, and we kind of researched it properly, and now we debunked it as something that's natural.
The best night of my life was the Bytown Museum. Roger let us, we in a corner there, we got EMF, a lot of it. Cheryl and I were dead set. We were having a conversation with a ghost, and he let us go for 2 hours before he told us there was a damn furnace kicking on and off, an air conditioner right out where we were, and that
Yeah.
was setting off all the meters.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I never even thought that they had an air conditioner in the wall where we were on this second floor, but we
Yeah.
were like, "There's a ghost here." He's like, "Yeah, whatever."
Yeah. Another comment here by Denise. Could be home if everything is family home was read pretty for the sanctuary and protection as a reason we return to their beloved home. Okay, well that's a good point. The home is everything, it's the family, right? So which is a good reason why spirits would want to kind of lag behind, I would assume. And we have another comment.
The
Residual.
Keyhole House is a good one in that because there's such a great history of the Henderson family with the golf ball. We now have a magician there. It's pretty interesting with the history there that each former owner is kind of communicating through Ted, and he's currently buying them, getting gravestones for them.
Yeah.
And it's taken his life over. It really has,
Yeah.
but it's a really unique situation.
Yeah, no, very true. Very true. My Nick's asking if we've ever investigated any outdoor areas. No buildings.
Yes.
I've done the cemetery
Yes.
once,
Yes,
only
we have.
once, but then yeah. Which ones was that? While you guys knew me, or was it before that?
Before we knew you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
we done a few of the old graveyards that people don't know where they are in the area.
Yes.
Um, Actually, we were having fun till we realized we almost fell off a 30-foot drop.
Ooh.
That there was a 30-foot cliff on the back where we were, and it was 2 in the morning. So um, there's interesting when you're in an old abandoned outdoor place. I've done a woods. I've gone into a woods with meters that people claim that there was, doing the Bigfoot hunt and all that other stuff. Um, Actually, it's kind of creepy because you feel like you're in a horror movie. And like right now around my house, they've been seeing bears. There's been 5 bear sightings within 3 to 5 minutes of my house in the last month. So,
Yeah.
grab your meter, go out in the woods. You might meet something you don't want to meet. So,
Well, that's the thing I find too with outdoor areas. There's the potential of animals. There's potential. Also, I did a cemetery once, and I told myself that probably it's kind of a controversial a bit because you're actually walking around people's graves. So I'm kind of a little kind of iffy on doing
Yeah.
cemeteries. But that I think that's the only outdoor thing I've ever done was a cemetery, and you get a lot of contamination too because you're outdoors. Sometimes you hear cars going by, you'll hear people talking in the distance. So it's for me, I find when you do outdoor locations, there's such a big chance of contamination, and that could lead again, as we talked about, false positive or false readings or false CVPs as well.
yeah, we don't do them anymore, Cheryl and I, because we think they're places to rest.
Yeah,
Although, if you go in there and you're not going to trash it, you're not going to disrespect it, you're not going to leave any graffiti, I'm okay with people going to those at night. There's a couple
yeah.
of them around our area that are full all the time,
Hmm.
literally till
Hmm.
1, 2 in the morning. People,
Yeah, I
but you
guess
got to
if, I
remember
guess if,
that that is somebody's mom and dad.
yeah, and I guess you have to do it respectfully.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, you got to
Yeah,
respect it because I mean they're there to rest. Honestly,
exactly.
I don't think a lot of people will haunt a cemetery. I used to go to Crown Hill in Indianapolis. If you're in the cemeteries, Crown Hill in Indianapolis is absolutely gorgeous. It's
Hmm.
a great place to go during the daytime and just look at the architecture on the stones because people in Indianapolis spent thousands to get their stones back in the day made.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
the only other fun outdoor stuff that we have done is I have done one alien investigation on Georgian Bay with my wife and
Alien,
her cousin. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we
an
set out
alien
on the
investigation. Did you see any grays?
no, no,
No
but
grays this time.
we sat out by a bonfire, believe it or not, across the bay. A shooting star shot across, stopped, and shot backwards. Right,
Oh,
like
Yeah.
okay. It's one
it
thing if
was,
it goes forward. If it goes backwards, we got an issue.
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
that was kind of fun. We don't have it on film because we were sitting around the fire, but all 4 of us were like, maybe we should go inside. It's 1 in the morning.
I'd say, come get me, please.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm
Pick
not the
me up.
Independence Day. I'm going to the
Pick.
hills where the weapons are. I'm crossing the border, finding the people with the guns.
Okay, so you're gonna come on my property then. Well, I mean, I got some of mine on the wall in the back there, but I figured, yeah, it's probably not good for a live feed. But I'm renovating this room, and my camera went out of focus. But I figured if I'm a ghost hunter, it kind of fits in. A hunter guns.
And Monique, Buck Hill near Lake Ontario,
Yeah.
you might check with Georgina. They investigate with us at the
Oh
Fort
yes, at
Henry.
Fort Henry. Yeah.
They do put on some events in that area. So check their website, Georgina Paranormal and Black Moon as well.
Hmm.
They both were with us. So they do events in that Lake Ontario area.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys have never done Buck Hill, eh? Before we met.
No,
No, I've never done it either. I know it's just this long deserted road, and supposedly there's lights. It's something about lights at the end of the road that light up, but there's nothing there.
that that sounds like a horror movie.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's kind of one of those where you should be leaving, but no, people stick around and they get murdered.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm not tempt fate. I'm a paranormal guy, but when they say like when there's really cases where people disappear, like I'm not there.
Yeah.
Skinwalker Ranch is a place I'd turn down. If they called me and said, "Mark, let's go to the Skinwalker Ranch," I'm like, no. People have died doing that shit. No, I'm good.
The reality of things, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm
So
not
okay, so
Zach Bagans looking for a demon.
yeah,
No,
yeah, we don't look for demons. We don't
no
look. We just
demons.
kind of sit there and wait for stuff to happen, which is what you should be doing. Not
Yeah,
don't produce the demons. You wait
yeah,
for the demons to come to you.
yeah. If you want to.
What's that?
Yes. She turned on the kitchen light because it's getting dark in here.
Oh, it's getting darker. Yeah.
Well,
So
too
let's go
bad.
back
Yes.
to equipment again. So we had the EMF again, spirit box. It's all this kind of stuff, and unfortunately, yeah, it's very entertaining when you do public events and stuff because it's fun for people. But I think for us, is we're trying to educate people that if you're going to get into this, you have to do it right. I'm not saying that what we do is 100% the most accurate. I mean, everybody's got their own kind of methods to do. But for us, I think because we've been doing a lot of stuff together for over what, a year now, if not more,
Yeah,
almost.
we're almost at two, Dan.
Hey,
We're almost at two.
yeah. I mean, at least not 2 years yet. Us hasn't been two
I think
years.
it's
No,
close. Yeah.
Yeah.
it's getting close. It's getting close. So I mean, I think as we investigated together, we've kind of decided to like the equipment, and we've kind of agreed on certain things that it's gadgets. They work.
Yeah.
They can work. They can work. But I mean, the odds of them creating false evidence is bigger than creating good evidence.
That's the REM pod. It should
The
be the
REM pod
model.
as well.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's something I tell people. Like at the end of the night of our public investigations, I will show people how to set that off, and you can set it off easily from
Hmm.
a from 60 feet away if you got a walkie-talkie.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah. That's
usually,
true. We knew that.
yeah, we set the REM pod usually up by itself with a camera on it, and that way there's nothing in the room. And if somebody goes in the room and it goes off, throw it out. It's not
Yeah.
real.
Yeah. We just got corrected by Mary here. Spencerville mill is a grist mill, not a textile mill.
Oh, correct.
Well,
Spot
Sorry,
on.
sorry, Mary. We
we're knee
actually
deep
that
in mills right now.
We're knee deep in mills. That's a good way of putting it.
okay. So
Mills
it's a
seem to
grist
be our
mill.
calling lately.
Yeah,
So since we're on that subject, Mary kind of brought it up. So we are at the Spencerville grist mill tomorrow.
Correct.
correct.
Okay. So we are going to have also a special guest, which we're not going to mention,
Yes,
but
it'll be
odds
exciting.
are everybody's going to know him.
Yes,
Yes, and he's
yes.
a master of entertainment. We know that. Never met him myself, but I'm actually anxious to meet him.
Yeah, yeah. When he comes down, it's going to be fun.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
looking
Trust
forward to
me.
it. Great guy.
Whoever's listening right now, you're going to enjoy this guy. I mean, I've
Oh,
seen him
yeah.
before often, and I heard about him so many times. So I'm anxious to meet him, and I think it's going to be great to have him on the investigation and also have him on the live feed.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
We've got a few people. It's kind of neat. We've got a few people that are actually going to come around. So we're trying to get some other people to come around and be with us and let them see what we do,
yeah,
and we
yeah,
get to see what they do, and we
yeah,
see what we do.
Yeah.
yeah. So I have my Nick here. Something that the non-techie equipment is better, which is digital voice recorders and video, right?
Yes,
Yes.
yeah. I like this golf ball she's talking about on the floor because
Yes.
yeah, it's not got light up balls in it. It's not got a motion sensor. It's just a golf ball.
Yeah, yeah, non-techie stuff. So that's a good point. And we actually talked about that because we're talking about at one point we talked about experimenting with. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice. Hold on. This is water, by the way. So just to let you know, we talked about We talked about experimenting with dowsing rods, and also I had mentioned something about a pendulum, right? But not actually holding it, but actually putting it on a stand, and
Yes.
then doing two sets of dowsing rods, a set on a stand, and somebody holding a set to see what kind of different readings you would get, and if they would both move the same way. So I think the comment by Manik here, using non-techie stuff, is something we are going to start experimenting with a little bit more. I actually thought of bringing like a regular compass as well, which is not made for ghost hunting, right? So I think that kind of equipment, like a golf ball, regular things that you can use, are good ways. And we talked about the spirit box, using, instead of using a spirit box, we'll use a regular transistor radio and just play white noise. Just put on a non-channel, like shh, and see what we capture.
Yeah, for sure, for
Yeah,
sure. Yeah,
we don't
yeah.
want to
It's
give up our techniques, but it gets out of the bag now, anyways. But
well, it's becoming a time. I mean, like you said earlier, we don't think that we're the team out there, or our ways are the ways. It's just trying to tell the youngsters. I've gone to several homes where messes have been made and had to pick up the mess or figure out what the heck we could do.
yeah, yeah,
Because the people that came there before told me how haunted it was, and it's like this is not haunted. You've got electrical problems.
yep,
You've got
yep.
urine backwash. You've got yeah, powder works great too. Actually, this is a funny story.
Yeah,
My
powder. That's a
wife
good
used to
comment. Yeah.
my wife used to have snakes, and I had a rainbow boa loose in my house for 3 days. A 7 foot snake. So
She was pretty.
our, our whole house had powder on the floor for me to try to find out where the damn thing was.
And that's how you found it, is by putting powder on the floor.
No, me and her went out to get dinner and came back, and our two girls were playing video games. My daughter and her daughter, being millennials, they were playing video games, and the snake's head was this far from the back of their head coming off the top of the bookcase.
Oh, and this is a boa.
Yes.
There was a
And
young
So
boas,
rainbow one.
they would have
was it a
screamed their
really
heads off. So
was
it
it a
was
really big
behind them.
was it a really big one?
7 foot.
Yeah, 7 foot.
Oh,
So
that
I
could
had to
kill.
grab it.
That could kill somebody. A seven
Not
foot
a,
boa
not a
could.
human.
No.
Not a
No,
human.
not even.
No.
No, it had to be
No.
much bigger than that, right? Than 7 feet
Yeah.
to swallow a
Yeah.
human.
It's generally about the 12, 14 footers that you got to worry about. But this one was strong. So I had to grab it immediately because it would have stayed loose, and I had dogs. And at the
Okay,
time, our
would it might have
dogs,
eaten it might have eaten the dogs though.
Yeah.
yeah, our dogs slept with us in the bed, like literally with leashes till we found the snake. So,
Yeah. I had
well,
7 snakes at that time.
long story short, I
Oh
had to have
my.
a tug of war with this boa.
I can
And
imagine. Seven, and they're strong. They're strong, these
it,
snakes.
Yeah.
it's the strongest thing that's ever grabbed my arm. And I used to be a bouncer.
Yeah, yeah. I used to. I went to a Little Ray's Reptile Zoo, and I actually held one. And at one point, it was starting to wrap itself around my arm. And the guy said, "Okay, maybe I'll take it from you now," because he said they could actually wrap themselves around your arm and they could snap your bones.
Yeah.
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 Yes, they
So he
can
says,
do
"Yeah,
that.
I'll take it from you now because the tail's going around your arm. That's not a good thing." And I said, "Okay, you can take it."
Yeah. I put a blanket between me and the snake as I was grabbing it. So I wrapped my arm in a blanket, grabbed the snake, took it to its cage, held it in the cage, and it let go after about 1 minute when it realized it was in its cage. And that's all it wanted, honestly. It was looking for its cage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you ever lose a snake in your house, leave the cage open because chances are it will be back there.
Yeah. And if you do lose one, just call the Ghost Nightwatchmen investigative team, and we will remove it for you.
I actually will come we'll try to find it if you do
Yeah.
lose a snake in your house. We'll
I'm
have no
very
problem with that.
I'm very
We'll
good
take
with
it away.
snakes, and I have no problem picking them up and putting them where they need to be because they're cute. I like them.
I
Um,
like snakes. I like snakes. They're beautiful animals. I like all animals. So I think all animals are deserving of respect, no matter what they are.
Monique, you're talking about putting two voice recorders in the room by itself and picking them up at the end. I personally don't love that because you don't have a camera. If you got a camera on them, it's good. If you don't, because my recorder I use, I can hear Cheryl 4 floors above me
Yeah,
talking.
that's true.
Vice versa.
And
Mm.
that's where it becomes. We had a big audio system we used one time at investigation. I was like, "There's no way we're probably hearing the neighbors right now."
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, and not only that, what I find too, when you leave a recorder on for too long, it makes for a long review. When you're listening to 2-3 hours of recording, and then you end up finding nothing.
That's the downside. but
That's the downside.
I like the style. I like the style. I mean, I like what you're doing, Monique. I just say that I would put a camera on it to make sure, you know. Oh no, mine's a $59 Olympus. It's it's the best damn thing, but it'll pick up a
Yeah.
squirrel running a mile away from you.
Yeah. I find the same thing with the task cams that I have. They're so sensitive. But with the pickup patterns, you can really kind of squeeze in where you're going to pick up. Like if you want to really pick up only what's in the room, they're very good for that. It's kind of like my Yeti here. It won't pick up anything from the sides, but it'll pick up only from the front. So that's again, yes, the cheaper ones are good. The expensive ones can be good as well, but sometimes they're just overly sensitive and they're just picking up stuff from all over the place. And then you think it's a voice, but yeah, it's somebody that's walking outside talking, and the microphone, the recorder's actually picking it up.
I recommend the cheaper, less sensitive ones. It's easier to debunk. It's harder to debunk evidence with them. The super sensitive ones, somebody can still say, well, this would pick up somebody's voice 2 stories above you, and you can't say no because
Yeah.
it could.
So you
Yeah.
don't want a parabolic microphone because you don't want to hear the bats fart.
Well, you don't want to hear people's conversations 2 houses down either.
No,
No.
no,
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
they're intelligent responses, or we're
Yeah.
drinking beer.
Yeah.
What do
Well, you never
want?
know. I mean, they might, like I said, they might still work. I mean, we don't know what works, what
Yeah.
doesn't. I mean, we experiment with all sorts of stuff, and I think that's the whole point of investigating is trying different equipment and trying different techniques, different methods. And there's not one single method that's the best, but we all try different things, right?
Yeah, and that's the point where it's nice to say we can be weird. It's something. Nothing's off the table when we go investigate. We might look at you and say, "That's pretty weird, man,"
Yeah.
but we'll
But
try.
I do like the non-techie stuff. I think I'm going to start messing around with more of that stuff. I'm actually going to build a stand for dowsing rods, and I'm actually going to build a small stand for like a pendulum. Now, if that starts moving to you guys, wouldn't that be more tangible evidence? If you have a pendulum that's hanging on a
Sure.
stand that has got,
Totally.
if it starts moving by itself, wouldn't that make much more sense than I don't know, a cat ball or whatever else is
Yeah.
moving
Yeah.
around?
Oh, for sure. Well, the cat balls are entertainment value, but
Hmm.
the lights lighting up, that's not paranormal.
Hmm.
If the cat ball gets picked up and thrown down the hallway and flies on its own, that's paranormal.
Yes.
Hmm.
But the
Hmm.
rest of
Candle
it's not.
holder flies across your head. That's paranormal.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
That's what you want. I want that
yeah.
thing thrown down the hallway, or like Waverly Hills. I don't understand why no one's tried to throw a frisbee down there and see if it comes back, because everybody throws the ball.
If a frisbee comes back, now that's something.
Right.
That would
If a
be.
frisbee
That
comes
would
back,
be that'd be like, okay,
yeah.
we may have to do that Rolling Hills.
Oh.
Actually, that's not a bad idea. Let's start bringing frisbees at museums.
Not in museums. I'm talking about the ones that are really run down, man.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think they'd like us throwing
Yeah.
frisbees inside the museum when they have all these artifacts. Oops, we hit something. That wouldn't be nice.
That's
Screamings would go up
that's a whole
significantly.
different, and there was a paranormal forum today, and they asked investigators what's their biggest nightmare, and I was like, did I destroy something historical?
Yeah, yeah, and I think
That's
and I think that's what we're concerned about too. When we do
Yes.
these historical places, we're so careful to make sure that we don't damage anything, that we don't we try to leave the places exactly as they were when we got there.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's something that all teams should take in consideration. And if all teams do that, it helps all other teams to get into these places. So you don't have somebody wrecking
Yeah.
something and then the museum gets scared of getting anybody else in there. So that's something that all teams have to keep thinking about is when you go in locations, be respectful, be smart about not trying to damage anything in the place as well. That just keeps the door open for all the teams that want to investigate these locations.
Yeah, we generally keep all of our places. If you see a place we've investigated and you want to do it, call the place. You don't
Yeah,
have to call
exactly.
me. You don't have to call Dan. If you want the information, you can call me and I'll give it to you. You can
Yeah, yeah.
send us a message on our Nightwatchmen.
Yeah.
No, I
But
totally
that's
agree.
what the
Like
goal
I
is.
said, yeah, if any teams out there, and if people are listening, if they want to investigate some of the places we've been in, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's more beneficial to the museum to have multiple teams go in there to do multiple events, and we all work together, and it helps these
Absolutely.
locations out. And I think that's part of what we were going to talk about. It seems like there's this ongoing trend right now of teams not being able to get into certain locations because there's a monopoly going on. And like, I'm not going to mention any names and stuff like that, but it seems like there's a monopoly going on, and it seems to be so non-beneficial to these museums to be so blindsided to just concentrate in on one thing when you have a multitude of good teams out there that could do so many events for these museum and raise so much money. It seems to be just so short-sighted, and this is something we were going to discuss tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny. There's places we've investigated we can't get in, and
There's a bunch of places that I used to do, and now for some reason I can't get in there anymore. So,
we did nothing wrong. And it's funny because I look at it, it's like no one's in there tonight. I would pay you. I'm willing to pay you $600 to $1,000 to rent it out, and you can't get in.
and it still doesn't work, which is, I mean, it's unfortunate because these museums could make so much money as well. And again, for us, we don't profit off of this. We don't make a single dime. When we do an event, it goes strictly to the museum and nobody else. We don't make a single penny, not even a half a penny.
No, and that's really the ethical side is looking at like these historic places won't be around if somebody doesn't stand up and help them.
Hmm.
Stuff can get cut off. Funding can be cut at any time.
Yeah.
And with us going in there at night, we respect the place. We make sure it doesn't get destroyed. We make sure it stays clean, and we leave it the way it was when we came in. When we leave in the morning,
Yeah.
and they make money. Fort Henry was very expensive the last time we went there,
Yes, it was.
and
It was expensive.
it was very expensive. But that's a big burden there because the place is so big. They really can't check every inch and nook of it to see if something's been broke before you get there.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So
they may assume that we might have done it, but it might have been done prior to our arrival.
Well,
uh,
word of caution too is that anyone who's investigating anything that is maintained by Parks Canada cannot make a sole source agreement with any one group. They are prevented
Hmm.
because of the fact that they are contracting on behalf of Canada, and
Yeah.
Canada can't do that. So if they go in and they're saying, oh no, they've made some sort of exclusive agreement. I call bullshit because it can't be done with Parks
No,
Canada.
no. Well, the thing is, all these places are public access, right? So everybody should have access to all these locations. Everybody should have a fair opportunity.
yeah, and that's what I say. Like if a group doesn't like how I investigate, I've got thick skin. That's fine.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You can make fun of me as you want, but go do your investigation there. And if you find something different, you think that's fine because we're
Yeah.
doing something that's really not paranormal investigation. There's no, if somebody says I'm doing it the right way, they're full of it because there's really no, until somebody really gets that concrete,
Yeah.
when
It
science gets
has to be. It has to be reproduced in a laboratory. Like, it has to be. I have the same consistent results all the time, and it's impossible to do during paranormal investigations. That's why all the methods that we use, there's not one that's bad. We can only choose the ones that we think are good for us, and other people will choose what they think is good for them, right? So,
yeah.
um I guess our teams are more into the skeptical scientific, like, okay, no, it's this, it's a win, it's something else, and now we're actually talking about, let's use some non-techie stuff to see if that's going to work. So there's no right way of doing it.
Yeah, I worked at a research facility in a chemical plant for 10 years, so I know the scientific methods because we blew up a lot of stuff. But, but
Were you like those? Were you like, who did that? Was it
I've got stories from those
was it the
days.
Tennessee race chasers? They would blow stuff up. Didn't
Oh,
they blow up a demon in
they're
a hey?
amateurs compared to what we did there.
They blew up a demon in a box, I think, in the middle of the woods.
Yeah, well, there was a night I was going to call my family and tell them we're screwed. I love you. But I don't know if I'm coming home in an hour.
We're
Because
about
it's
to blow
bad.
something up. I don't know if I'm going to make it.
Yeah, we have the whole back
Uh,
wall of the building on fire, and
So we have a comment here by Manik. Yeah, maybe vibrations from people walking might affect a pendulum. Yeah, that's a good comment, Manik. So of course, if we're going to do that kind of experiment, I guess we'd have to have everybody still not move around. And here Denise has a comment. I did an EVP session at home at 1 a.m. Really quiet. Used my phone, the video portion of it. Asked who was here with me. I played it back, and I heard a voice very clearly say, "Dad is here." Okay,
I
that's the
like
thing,
that.
though. It's possible. It's possible. But as far as using phones for investigating, we're a little bit kind of because, well, then again, if you hear a voice, a recording's a recording, right?
Yeah.
But and the thing is you're just recording. She's just recording on the phone. Now, I don't personally like using the phone, but at the same time, if she's just recording on her phone and it's not filtered, then that's pretty cool. That's
Yeah.
interesting. That's what I call
Yeah. And she
interesting.
said here, replied again, "Are you okay, Dad?" And she heard a yes. Well, that's pretty cool. I would actually like to hear that recording.
Yeah, and that's something we talk about. But Cheryl's good friends, and I don't mean to plug another person, but Blair Robertson's good friends with her, and he does healing for people. And part of like the Mel meter was designed because the guy wanted to talk to his daughter that died.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And that's part of what we do for healing. That message is perfect for you because you asked your dad if he was okay, and you got yes. I would take that
Yeah.
personally. I wouldn't send it to science to be debunked. I would say that's the answer I needed for me to heal and move on.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, take it seriously. I mean, if it's something that you feel is, and the fact that it was intelligent, obviously, there was answering the questions directly. So, yeah, I mean, who knows? Like I said, we always say we shouldn't be using phones for investigations, but who are we to say that phones are not good? We do know that phones can fire off EMF meters and stuff like that. I mean, they can
Oh,
contaminate a lot
yes.
of stuff. But I mean, doing a recording with it, would it be so bad? Why wouldn't it? Why wouldn't it be good? It's a possibility. We always say you shouldn't be using phones on investigations, but who are we to say that it's not a good method? Yeah, chances of contamination is much bigger, but hey, it may still work.
Yeah, if it's highly intelligent like that, I would just take the healing message and run with it and be
Yes.
happy.
Hmm.
Agree.
You know,
Hmm. Yeah,
that's a
yeah.
beautiful
Okay,
thing.
so we're not going to make it too long tonight, but okay. So we covered a bit of the equipment, the gadgets, and told people to be careful that yes, most of these pieces of equipment are made to produce ghosts, not exactly detect them. So you have to be careful with that. Also, with EMF meters, we have to be careful with. As you said, when you guys went to that mill, the machines, the metals inside the machines were actually firing off the EMF meters, not necessarily a ghost. It was just, again, a natural cause causing the EMF meter to go off. And we talked about using non-techie equipment as another source of a potential way to investigate.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we talked about the monopoly, which
Yeah, the monopolies. Yeah.
that's got to change. The monopoly in the industry. Um, I was very a long time ago. I was very protective of my team until I met a couple of good people, including you guys, and Larry from Florida. Some good people that are good investigators. And I went, you know what, it is, and chaps as well. There's a lot of good teams. West from Cops. There's so many good teams out there that are all doing the same thing we do, and some teams don't believe in paranormal unity, but I think we're all there to do the same thing. So why not support each other? Why not?
That's that's the
You know,
thing. And I've seen other teams do stuff that I didn't. I was like, that's weird, but I didn't get mad about it.
no,
And
because it's their thing. It's what they do, right?
it's what they do. And
Yeah,
some teams it's sad. I think some teams it's sad because they don't even present their evidence because they're afraid everybody's just going to laugh at them, and it's sad. They
yeah,
may have some
yeah,
really good stuff,
yeah,
and
yeah,
that's what we all go through.
yeah.
But
But we're gonna. I think we're gonna start.
the
Go ahead, Mark.
only other thing I really want to talk about is just be careful. Like, I'm conveying to people, it's a message I got to get out because my phone's ringing off the hook. Is if you've never investigated for more than 20 years, don't go to a private residence and investigate it for them. Please refer them to somebody that's been doing this a long time. It's very
Yeah,
delicate. And
especially private residences, because these people are
Oh,
genuinely concerned about what's going on in their house, right?
they live it. You leave, You tell them there's a demon there, you leave, and they're going to worry all night and never sleep again.
Yeah.
If you tell them you false positive on an EMF meter is a ghost, it's delicate.
Yeah.
We had a
Yeah.
woman that
Private.
also committed suicide,
Oh, yeah.
because of
You,
an
you don't want that.
investigation.
Yeah, no,
And
we definitely don't want that. So yeah, I mean, I'm not saying
Yeah,
that somebody's, somebody's got 20 years, has more experience, somebody has 40 years more experience, somebody's got 5 years more experience. Just if you're going to investigate, I think whether you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, make sure you know what the hell you're doing. Do
exactly.
your research on
Yeah,
the equipment, do your research, look at other teams that have been doing it for a long time, see what they do, and then form your own methods. But you can't go inside private residences, and if you don't know what you're doing.
yeah, because the psychological impact on the family is, oh, it could be long lasting for years if
Hmm.
you don't know
Hmm.
what you're talking about and you
Yeah.
don't have the facts to back it up.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay. All right. So it's well, it's close to 8 o'clock. We go over that's no biggie. So okay, so we talked about the basic stuff, a little bit about equipment, EVPs. Got some couple of good comments here from Nick and Denise. Now we talk about our stuff coming up. We got a lot of stuff coming up, right? So we
yes,
have the
Okay, we do.
Spencerville grist mill tomorrow,
Yes.
which we're doing.
tomorrow.
We're gonna start a little earlier, but the live feed will probably start around 8 o'clock. I put the live feed maybe around 8 to 10:30, but it's probably gonna go on longer than that. One thing I did want to
Yes,
mention,
Yes.
I think you guys actually agreed with me. So we're gonna do once in a while ghost talk shows, but we'll have people able to join us via video to talk to us live instead of just commenting on the comment side, on the chat side. They'll be able to get a link, come live with us on the actual ghost talk show, and actually be visible via their video and have a conversation with us. That's something we're going to expand into, right?
I I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to this. Yeah,
Yeah, me
Yeah,
yeah,
too.
that'll be it's
yeah. And
kind
I
of be
like talking to Monique and stuff tonight.
yeah, and it's people comment. It's not the same thing, reading their comments and then responding to their comment. It's so much better if you can actually talk to them in person. So I think some
Interact. Yeah.
maybe maybe on one occasion we'll probably get a couple of people who might come in that are a little sometimes it can happen. You get the cookies that come in sometimes. I'm not saying that money convenience. All right, I mean you can
They
have
make
that. So we'll take a
they
chance.
make it more fun. Yeah,
Yes.
Well, it'll make it fun.
it
It'll
makes
make
it
it
more
fun. A
fun.
good there's
Yes, it will.
nothing better than a good debate.
If you see, we all like to laugh and scare each other anyway. It's
Yeah.
part of it.
We're good
So
like that.
Oh,
yeah,
there's something I got to talk to you guys about. And I was watching this on YouTube. There's something I'm going to start doing, and I want you guys to be part of it. I'm not going to say it here. That
Uh-oh.
we'll talk later, but you'll see. It's something I saw. Now, holy
uh,
shit, that'd be a really good idea. That'd be a really good idea. But we'll talk about that after. I don't want to kind of actually kind of
Okay.
divulge the secret right now, but we'll talk about it. Okay. So and also we have a big event coming up on September 16th, which is
Yes.
at the
yes, we've got the
Mississippi
Outlaw
Mills,
Textile Mill,
Mississippi,
Mississippi Valley Textile Mill.
Mississippi, Mississippi, the Mississippi Valley Textile Mill.
Say,
There we go. I got it. This
say
will be
that
on September.
fast.
Remember the SSI,
No,
SSIPPI.
Mississippi Valley, Mississippi. I can't do it fast. Mississippi Valley, whatever.
Yes,
Forget. Okay,
Mississippi
so
Valley Textile Mill.
okay, show off. Okay, so we're going to be doing a workshop in the afternoon, right? Stop laughing, Cheryl. It's not funny.
Yeah, yeah.
So
We're
we're
going to
going to
do a
be
workshop there, so you
yeah.
can come. You come here about. We haven't decided what our workshop's going to be about yet, but we'll get that lined up and probably going to be on equipment debunking or evidence, one or the other. And it's generally they're worth it. It's $10 to
Yeah.
interact with us, and then the investigations follow.
Okay. I'm actually going to post up the link here in case whoever's there and whoever watches the video, they can actually go to the link and buy some tickets here. I'm just looking at the Mississippi Mill there. Over here. No, that's the picture. Where is the link for this? I actually want to post up the link here. There we go. Let's see if this is the one here. Okay, so I'm going to post up the two links here. on the chat. So if anybody looks at the chats, they can find the link over here. So I'm going to put that in the chat room. That's the private. Actually, I'm going to post it in the comments here. So paste. There we go. Okay, guys, that's the link for the. I think this is for the workshop tickets. And the link for the public investigation tickets will be this one here, over here. So we'll post that in the StreamYards here. There we go. All right. So we got two links here. The first link is for the workshop tickets, which is $10 to attend the workshop, which will probably last about a couple of hours. We'll teach you about equipment, what we do, how we investigate, maybe show a bit of evidence, I guess, guys. And the second link will be for the actual public investigation. We have 2 time slots, so we have 6 to 10 and then 10 to 2. Correct?
Yes,
Yes,
Okay.
that is
So
correct.
that is correct.
Okay, so we got the links inside the chat here in the live feed. So if people want to click that and buy your tickets
Oh,
And
definitely.
then we have Friday the 13th at the Heritage House Museum.
yeah, we've been there quite a few times. So this is going to be I guess our kind of like Halloweeny kind of event, right? Friday the 13th.
Yes.
Yeah, they
Okay.
thought it would be fun. And
Okay.
it's not all it is serious, but at the same time, when people come to the Publix, they want to have an experience. It's Halloween time, and they thought, why not do a paranormal investigation on Friday the 13th, which I was fine with. I was like,
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. And I think
It's
that one's going to be an investigation with a few little twists.
maybe,
We'll talk
maybe,
we'll talk
maybe.
about that later. We'll talk about
They
that
may have a
later.
little bit of fun there.
But yeah, you guys don't want to miss Friday the
I'm a really big
13th at
guy,
the.
so you never know what might show up.
We'll dress you in a big ghillie
No, you
suit
don't
there,
want to miss
hide you in
that
the
one.
corner. Hey, no, we don't want to miss that one either. So yeah, so Friday the 13th
Yeah.
at the Heritage House Museum in
If,
Smith Falls. That's another event coming up.
Yes.
yeah. And then we'll have a public, it's looking late October at the Spencerville Mill.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a public as well, the Spencerville
So,
Mill in late October. Okay,
yeah,
so
keep
we're
an eye
busy.
out for that. That'll be,
So
yeah.
we're
And
busy.
we're in
It's gonna
Prescott
be
next weekend, but that's private.
that's a private one. Yeah,
Looking
that's
forward to
correct.
that place too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're
Yeah.
also going to, some of the team is going to Rolling Hills
Mhm.
at the end of September, just
Oh,
because.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I'm still thinking of that one. I want to go, but uh,
there's tickets available. The Rape Chasers are going to be there. So if you
yeah,
want
I
to come
know.
down and meet us and the Rape Chasers and go through Rolling Hills,
Yep.
it's going to be unique at Rolling Hills because one of the ghosts there that they say is of a large guy that was abandoned by his family because they thought he had giganticism.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's ever met anybody my size that is compared to his size. So it's going to be interesting to see what the reaction is when I go in his room.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
This is a paranormal bucket list place for
Yeah.
me, so I'm so
I've
excited.
I've always wanted to do that place, and I'm still kind of torn on whether or not I'll be able to make it. It's just I got a lot of stuff to do around my place, and fall is big because I got to cut wood and stuff. But I mean, you said there's still some tickets left, right? So the door's still
Yeah.
open for
yeah,
me, kind of.
store's still open. So
Okay. And Monique says I can be cookie on demand.
awesome. Where are you located at, Monique?
I'm not sure. It should still be on. Oh, here's a good comment from. I agree, and people really need to stop believing orbs are spirits. That is a good point,
Sorry.
Monique.
Hey, it's
Yeah, that
fascinating.
is a
They're
good point.
fascinating to watch, though. There's some,
Yeah, it's
there's
fun.
something linked with orbs and like kids. There's got to be because like when they are flying everywhere, you immediately become like a kid. It's like, oh my God, look at those
Yeah,
orbs.
yeah, it's all these spirits, but it's 90%. We know it's 99.99% it's dust particles in the air. It could be insects flying around. It could all be like it could be all sorts of stuff. So, orbs are very frowned upon in the paranormal community, and anybody who's serious about doing investigations are very frowned upon as being anything paranormal.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Like I will say that's weird because the book at the library has a light orb that comes in right before the evidence happens. That's a neat anomaly.
Yeah.
Scientifically, we can't say that that's light energy, but that's one of the few times it's cool. And occasionally they'll come across stop and go back the other way and stop.
Mhm.
And I've seen one do a 3 zigzag where I'm like, that's not dust, but that's neat. Or it is dust, but it's just weird how it's getting lit.
Yeah,
Uh,
and I think that's what's weird about it is the fact sometimes I'm still skeptical on any kind of orb, but if they start moving in different directions, then you can say, okay, well, maybe it is something. But I'm still very skeptic on it,
Or if
it's
like
they
very
still
change
skeptical about it.
it's still going to be considered nothing, but it's still cool to say. I will stop the video and edit this and, and be like, neat,
Yes.
neat. Okay, you're at Carlton Place. You're not far from us.
Yeah, not far at all. West Ottawa. Okay,
Yeah,
and I think Monique with her husband, they do a Monique, correct me if I'm wrong. It's Whispering Souls, and you guys do psychic readings, I think, with your husband, right? Correct me if I'm right. Is it called Whispering Souls? Correct me if I'm wrong, Monique. And here we have a comment from Sandra. I was at the library investigation with the book. Glad to know you were not able to debunk it. Sandra, I don't remember Sandra though. Oh, it's because she got a picture of her kids there. Yeah, okay, I remember Sandra. Yes, yes, yes. Whispering Souls by Psychic Ken. Okay, so this is check out Monique and her husband. They have Whispering Souls. Their psychic readings by her husband Ken. Check them out. I think they're on Facebook. So we're doing a lot of plugs
let's
tonight.
let's talk about the book, Sandra. It's really cool because we went back and it wasn't 5 minutes in the investigation. I had one thrown at my head.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Oh, and I heard that supposedly you were placing the books so they would fall deliberately.
yeah, and
Yeah, yeah.
the thing is, when we went in there, is I opened the books up to make sure they wouldn't fall this time, and it's
Hmm.
staged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got to. You can't. Because if you just go in the library and a book falls off the shelf, it may. The librarian. I'm not saying laziness. I'm just saying they put it up there and it stands. They leave. They've
And it's
got
so
500 books
it's
to
not,
put up.
and it's like maybe in a precarious kind of position, and it's liable to fall. So what you were doing at the library is actually trying to make it more solid to make sure there's less chance of them falling.
Yeah.
Yeah, and jumping up and
Yeah.
down on the floor. So at my size, I'm not going to give you my weight, but I'm going to tell you if something's going to fall, it's going to fall when I jump.
Yeah, I
Uh,
would think so,
so
Mark.
so the second thing we did that night, though, we went up and got to that shelf, and I hit that shelf as hard as I could,
Hmm.
and not a book fell.
Yeah, I
So
know. I
that's
was there. Yeah, it wasn't. But then suddenly, we had a couple books fall as well, and that's why you decided to place them so they'd be harder to fall down.
yeah.
Yes.
So we ended up with 7 total. The second investigation fell around me.
Yeah,
Um, So, okay, I remember you, Sandra.
Yes.
yeah, I do too. Yeah.
So that was really cool, but the video of that, and it's up there. Um, the book lifts up. If you really watch it in slow motion, it's
I,
not a knocked over book. It looks like it moves up and then falls. The
Yes.
trajectory is, and
Actually, you know what? I think I still have it in here in the videos that from. Okay, you know what?
throw
I
that.
actually still have it.
Let's
I still
throw it
have
up
it here.
for everybody.
Let's. I'll. For the people that have not seen the. I know Sandra has obviously seen it. She was there live. Actually, I want to get her opinion because I don't think Sandra's ever actually watched one of our live feeds. I think, Sandra, what do you think happened that night with the book? You saw us trying to debunk it. We tried to move the shelf. There was no strings attached. We weren't producing this book to fall off the shelf. What do you think happened, Sandra? Do you think it's paranormal or it's just a coincidence that it just fell off the shelf? Let us know. I mean, you were there, so it's nice to get somebody who's not part of the team get their opinion. But in the meantime, I'm going to play that video. So whoever hasn't seen it, this is the book falling off the shelf at the Smith Falls Public Library. So let's try. I want to try EVP and try to keep as quiet as possible. There's something about this room and especially a little boy and stuff. I just want to see. So, guys, if you want to, we'll try to stay quiet for like 2-3 minutes, 5 minutes, and we'll try to ask questions first and capture like an EVP of some sort. There's something about this room that she said that was the third floor and that she was saying the boy was on this floor.
Mhm.
So let's try to capture something.
10:51.
It is 10:51. Try an EVP on the third floor. Communicate with the little boy. Georgie? Are you here, Georgie? Look at all the look at all the pretty lights on the wall. You want to play with those lights? Something just went flying?
Yeah.
No, stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it.
We got a book.
There's a book flying.
100% not because I was recording the whole time. Hell.
There's a book that went flying.
Hold up,
man.
Oh,
It's right there behind you.
You okay? Wait, it's open on one page.
Yeah, it's open on one page. Open it up. Open it up. It's weird. The book fell out. We didn't even touch this. Oh, is it possible maybe I tapped the shelf? No,
yeah.
no, the shelf. So yeah, that was kind of odd. The book like that falling off the shelf. I don't know if there's a comment here by Sandra. Sandra, there's a comment. I don't think it just fell. Everyone was discussing at the table or over by a rocking chair. I believe paranormal. Okay, so Sandra thinks it was actually knocked off the shelf.
I 100%.
Yep.
I'm a skeptical guy, but I 100% believe that was paranormal that night. There was no one jumping up and down. We had we had heat signatures on the opposite wall. We had the REM pod. It was like a procedure of events. The REM pod went off to get to the book. You didn't hit the shelf hard enough. I went up and hit the shelf that night.
Yeah.
You went back and hit the shelf. We pushed on the shelf. We went back at another investigation and hit it again.
Yeah.
I actually was jumping up and down in front of it to get the book to fall down.
Yeah.
And I don't think the book's name made any sense, Monique, that night. I think it was just basically a mad person saying, "Get out of my library." It's
Well,
kind of funny.
I think the name of the book was, and Lawrence would know this because it's something about the stories of Anne Frank.
That was
that's
it.
right.
That was it.
The stories or something that had to do with Anne Frank from Nazi Germany when they
Yeah.
were hiding in the basement or something. I remember going to see a play when I was a kid in school, and it was a play on Anne Frank. It had obviously the whole thing had a very tragic ending, but yeah, I think it was a book about Anne Frank that fell off the shelf.
Yes, it was.
The funny thing is, we did an Estes there before the book came off earlier in the night, and the librarian was telling me to tell people to get out. That's what I kept saying. You need libraries closed. You need to get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a mad, angry librarian that's like, "Why are you guys here? You're in my zone." That was interesting. Now, throughout the night, we were getting EMF at random at books, and it was telling a story too there that
Yes.
night, which was kind
Yeah.
of weird.
Yeah.
It
We're
was
going to
like,
be.
I'm dead, and
We redid the Smith Falls Public Library a second time, but we didn't really capture anything much except for a few books fell off the shelves, and you positioned them to make sure that they were solid, to make sure they weren't in a precarious way, and there was no way for them to fall. Aside from that, did we capture any EVPs, anything like that? Did you guys capture anything on your recordings?
no, I didn't capture any EVPs, and it's like, I guess with a place, I call it shy. I find generally third, fourth, fifth time you're there.
Yeah.
I feel like the Smith Falls Railway Museum, the first 2 times we caught nothing, and then time 3, it was on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Heritage House was kind of like that the first time.
Yeah. Seems the
Spirit
more
has to
often you
warm
go
up
to a
us
place,
first.
the more. Hey. Go ahead, Cheryl.
Yeah.
Yeah, spirit has to warm up to us.
Yep. Yeah.
No,
And
I'm
we're a
saying
hard
they have
bunch.
to warm up to us apparently to get me.
And we're a hard bunch to warm up to.
We're easy to get warm.
Oh my God. So we got another comment here. Yes, she remembers. Somebody saying that there was some messages there. They didn't want us there after hours. And we actually found out after
Yeah.
the fact from the research we've done after that the Georgie person, which I won't mention the actual person's name to protect the family's confidentiality, but we did find out that Georgie was not a boy. It was somebody was a librarian there at one point, or was a librarian in her lifetime, and her nickname was Georgie. So that's kind of weird when I did the research after, but I'm not going to mention the actual person's real name there. But it was kind of weird that we found that out after the fact.
Yeah, we did find out that somebody supposedly did die there. It, fell down
After,
the
yeah, you
stairs.
told me
It was
that
a
as well. Yeah,
character.
fell down the
Yeah.
stairs and he
So
passed
it's,
away.
yeah.
Hmm. Okay. All right. Well, guys, I think we're at 8:20 right now. I'm not going to keep up. Keep. My
We're
tongue.
having fun.
My tongue is not working
Sorry,
right
wait your tongue.
now.
You're getting ready for tomorrow
um,
night.
I'm getting tired. I've had a couple of exhausting days there, but anyways, so yeah, so we have a lot of stuff coming up. We talked about some good subjects here. So we have tomorrow the Spencerville Grist Mill in Spencerville, and then we have September 16th the Mississippi Valley Textile Mill, which is going to be a workshop and public investigation. Tomorrow is only us, but we will be going live at 8 p.m. with a special guest that everybody will recognize. Trust me, everybody knows this guy, and he is quite the character, and he's a heck of a good entertainer as far as I know. So you guys are going to enjoy this. He's going to attend the event with us tomorrow and spend a bit of time with us on the live feed. And Friday the
All
13th,
right, I'm ready.
next one.
Friday the
The
13th.
Ghost.
I tell you, the Alamo Textile Mill. If you're close to Carlton Place, it's not far from you. That place is beautiful. It's going
Yeah.
to be a good event. It'll be
Yeah,
a
Sandra,
very
if
good
you want
event
to,
to come.
yeah, if you want to attend that one, Sandra there, and or Monique or whoever wants to attend, yeah, it's
Sandra and Monique,
not too
yeah,
far from
they're
Carlton
both in
Place.
that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe Monique could help
Sandra,
us
what's
out
your
if she.
team's name?
I'm not sure if Monique has a team. I think they her husband Ken does psychic readings.
No,
I'm not sure if they have.
Sandra has a team.
Oh, does she?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know she had a team. Do you have a investigative team, Sandra? Right, needs to wear the mask from Scream on Friday. Wear the mask. Wear the mask from Scream on Friday the 13th. Oh,
I
the
don't know. It's
Halloween.
my size. I know there's 2 masks I should wear.
Oh my.
I have so many Halloween props you wouldn't believe. I have 10 bins. I used to decorate my house like crazy. So maybe I'll bring a couple of things.
I used to date a girl that her young son said, "You're 6'5". I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "You're the same height as Michael Myers."
You actually you're bigger than Michael Myers. Bigger.
Scary.
Probably even more intimidating.
I would take him down.
But he
Yeah,
can get things off the top shelf.
Yeah.
you would
Yeah,
you
I
would
get
kick
things
you would
off
kick
the top.
you would kick Michael Myers' ass anytime.
No, he'd kill me. I'd be like, I'm not running.
All right, guys. So we have Denise here. Yeah, the red light is really creepy. Oh, that's me. Yeah, that's just Monique. That's just my thing. I like skulls and stuff, and I got stuff in the background. A little bit of atmosphere, I guess you could say.
We got a Buffalo Soldier coming back here.
No,
Get my
the
Buffalo.
buffalo.
Buffalo Warrior. This is something that's
Yeah,
actually cool. If you're spiritual, you should have it in your house.
what's it called?
A Buffalo Warrior.
The Buffalo Warrior.
This is actually a native. So this is the protector of my house.
There you go.
So it's actually called a kachina. And
It's a nice piece.
you aim his arrow going outside your house. It's supposed to protect your house from bad spirits.
Okay. Kind of like a dream catcher. There's all sorts of different totems you can use, right? And that's called a Buffalo
Warrior.
Buffalo Warrior. Okay.
I firmly recommend this guy. And then we have the dancer that brings health into the house.
There we go. And that's
So
native
these
as
are
well.
all one-off, handmade. So he's got a head.
Cool. Oh, wow.
So some Indian stuff from home.
Yes. For
And
those that don't know that Mark is part Cherokee.
so the fun stuff
Nice.
to have in your cabinet, protecting you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit of trinkets.
Nice.
But this one, if you feel like your house is haunted, this is the guy to order from the Native Americans. So, cool stuff.
All right.
Well,
Okay.
look forward to it.
Actually, Monique has a team called, our team was called Spirit Quest. And Sandra does not have a team. She just has an interest in what we do.
Awesome. I hope to see you all again soon sometime.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So I won't keep you any longer. So I will see you guys tomorrow afternoon at the Spencerville Grist Mill Museum. I guess
Grist
textile, not
mill.
Grist Mill.
grist mill. Tomorrow live feed
Yes.
will be at 8 p.m. My camera's going out of
Grist
focus
mill.
again. Maybe it's a ghost going by the camera. And
I think it's
yeah,
close.
everybody tune in tomorrow. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it's an orb going in
Yeah,
front of the camera.
thanks for all your time tonight.
Yes,
And
and
time's
I'd
precious.
like to thank. Yeah, and we'll be live tomorrow on same kind of platform on StreamYards with our special guests around 8 p.m. tomorrow night, and we'll be on and off with the live feed pretty much throughout the whole evening, I guess.
Absolutely. Probably be live feeding all night. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good
Okay.
one.
Okay, guys. So I will see you tomorrow. I'll log you off, and then I will log off with my little video, and I'll see you guys tomorrow at in Spencerville.
All
Okay.
right. Have a good night, everyone.
Have a good night,
Hey, guys.
everybody.
Yeah,
Thanks
we'll see you
for the
tomorrow.
show.
Bye. All right, guys. So I'm going to log off as well. That was Mark and Cheryl from the Night Watchman investigative team. Our new partners, Ghosts and Night Watchmen, are a team now, kind of a partnership, and we are investigating the Spencerville gristmill tomorrow evening. Live feed starting at 8 p.m. Also, we're going to have a very, very special guest attend the investigation, and I'm sure he'll be on the live feed, kind of participating as well. And you are definitely going to enjoy this, so you do not want to miss this. I'd like to thank all the people that actually were on the live feed tonight: Denise, Sandra, Monique, and whoever else was on there. Anyways, thanks so much for watching the live feed once again. Also, don't forget to click the links for the Mississippi Valley Textile Museum Workshop and Public Investigation. The links are in the chats over here, so click those links and get your tickets to that event. That is going to be on September 16th. Anyways, guys, have a good night. Thanks again for tuning in, and we will see you tomorrow night. Lights out.